Hello and welcome to That British Homestead. So today we're going to be planting out a second strawberry planter. It's very exciting. I've filled it with horse manure, a bit of hay which will rot down, and basically we're going to be filling that up today with strawberry plants that I've bought from home. So let's get started. Okay, so I've picked the best location for this strawberry planter. It's actually south facing and it doesn't get shaded. I've got quite high fences on both sides of this allotment and they've got shade cloth on them, so it's important that I pick a location that's going to be in full sun all the way through the summer, because strawberries, like most plants, quite enjoy it full sun. It just helps with production and ripening the strawberries. Sunlight is really important. You will do south facing is the most important factor, but if you can't do that, then going ahead and having about 8 hours of sunlight will be really great within the day, and having a consistent light source is always important. Soil type, what I'm using here is horse manure that has been rotted down. It is absolutely filled with mycelium. I'm also making sure to water it really well. It does retain water quite decently. If you're doing a raised bed or one of these planters, the larger volume retains water much easier than, say, for example, normal compost. So that's an important point for me, but it does free drain, which is also another factor. The preparation of the soil, I just literally scooped up this soil and then go ahead and put it in. But if you aren't using horse manure, a good thing would be to add something like blood and fish bone or chicken manure or something like that to increase the fertility of the soil. But like I said, this has got tons and tons of organic matter. Incorporating organic matter into soil is so important because it helps with soil retention, water retention, soil structure, and other beneficial things like improving the overall fertility of the soil. Remember what I always say, we're looking for good soil and we're growing plants but feeding soil. So it's really important that you do that. You can use artificial fertilizers and stuff like that. I tend not to. I think that flavour is so much more improved when you grow things slowly over a longer period of time, personally. You can hear that I'm losing my voice again. So planting techniques, as demonstrated here, you can see that all I'm doing is making a small hole and then going ahead and pushing the strawberry into the hole. It is important you have the roots put in to the soil and the soil covering the roots. However, you can't cover up the crown of the strawberry because it tends to rot and then you lose the strawberry plant. So it's really important that you do that. I've spaced these about a foot apart because as the leaves get bigger and they fall down, it ensures that they have enough space so that light can get to them. As you can see, I think this is a great opportunity to use cracked water butts so that they are able to be useful in their old age, and for the fact that they're not going to be used at all. Otherwise, I can't retain any water with them because there's big cracks at the bottom. I have gone ahead and put drainage holes at the bottom as well, just so that there's no water pooling, because that will get them to be diseased and rot. So like I said, I'm going to be deep watering these because of the volume of organic matter in there. It will retain water quite well, so I'm not going to be too worried about it in the summer. But it is incredibly important to ensure watering, as that will help them settle into the containers. Because I've removed them from the garden bed at home, they are starved of water a little bit, so I do go ahead and really put these in and make sure that they are incredibly watered, and I'll water them into the holes as well so that the compost will settle around the roots. Fertilization, like I said, you can go ahead and fertilize them with whatever you like, but because this is all horse manure, I'm going to see how it goes. It should be perfectly good for leafy growth at the meantime, and when they start fruiting, I'll consider what to do then. Pests can be quite a significant problem with strawberries, I found personally. So I find that if you go ahead and paint if you go ahead and paint pebbles red and you hang them with the strawberries before they even start to flower, then what I find personally, that birds get accustomed to like flying up and pecking the rocks, and they're like, oh, they're just rocks. So by the time you have your strawberries come in, they're like, oh, they're not strawberries, they're just rocks. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I just get one of those rattle cans and spray a load of rocks. I'll probably glue them on here onto the side of this barrel so that they look like strawberries. And I used to go ahead and like paint the detail of the strawberries, and, like, give them little green bits, and like do the little dots of the seeds and like all sort of exciting stuff. But I don't do that anymore, on the basis that it's just not necessary. I just literally rattle can some pebbles, and I'm going to go ahead and like glue them onto the side or hang them in some way. And I've found that to be super effective against birds. But only if you do it like before they even start to flower, so that the birds are so used to them before they get the red of the strawberries coming. Another thing I do with slugs is I make sure that I hand pick slugs when I see them and get rid of them, remove them from the allotment altogether. And another thing that I do is I do lots and lots of beer traps around the allotment, and I make sure that I regularly change them, because if they get too full of slugs, then foxes do dig them up and it is a bit of a pain. I don't tend to have very much of other problems with strawberries unless I grow them on the ground, and then you have issues, well, you can have issues with wood lice. I 3D printed some little like strawberry holding up things, but you can go ahead and buy all sorts of things that hold your strawberries up from the ground. If they get too damp, they do go ahead and rot, as well, as we all know. And also with harvesting, there is an issue with squashing them, of course. Storing them will just be in the fridge, as you do with normal strawberries, and eat them as fresh as possible. Now, strawberries don't ripen once you've taken them off of the plant, so it is super, 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 super important to get them at best sort of harvest. Now, we don't really have a problem with that, because we tend to harvest into our mouths and eat them straight away. And like I said, I go down to the allotment every single day, so we're able to find them at the peak of their like best ripeness and then take them home, which is really nice. But I can't wait to have strawberries. We kind of like, as soon as the strawberries start producing, and remember, you're not meant to harvest them in the first year, okay? If you have the sort of willpower that allows you not to harvest strawberries in the first year, I take my hat off to you, because I'm not like that. I'm going to harvest mine in the first year because they're delicious and wonderful and yummy in every way. So I'm going to literally eat them in the first year. So it's worth bearing in mind that strawberries need to be replaced every about 2 years. So the first 2 harvests of your strawberry plants, you're going to get an absolute awesome amount of strawberries. But the 3rd year, the production really drops. So if you have like a planter like this, or a strawberry tower, however you call it, then you can go ahead and remove all the strawberries and restart them. But please remember that strawberries are like a plague. A good plague, because they will produce 2 to 3 plants each per plant. So if you collect the runners or clones of your strawberry plant, then you'll be able to go ahead and keep them for the next year, sort of thing. So that's what I'm going to be doing with these bad boys, is I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I've got a continuous flow of new strawberry plants to replace anything that has been left behind, because anything that's over 2 seasons old is going to get pests like aphids, etc. Like I said, we don't really have a problem with any pests, mostly because we replace our strawberries so frequently. And like I said, I've only ever bought 10 strawberry plants in my life, and I've probably got about 1 million strawberry plants. So it is well worth keeping those runners and making sure that you are spreading them out more than anything. So there are several different varieties of strawberry that you can get. There are early strawberries, main cropping strawberries, and ever bearing strawberries. The ones that I've got are called Cambridge Favourites. I think they're quite a lovely type of strawberry. Cambridge Favourites are really great because they're super tolerant on like being, you know, not looked after at the best way, so that they produce these lovely quite a large bumper crop of red strawberries, which have an excellent flavour and texture. And they start in about June and finish about July, but they are heavy croppers, and they are very tolerant of most situations that you'll put them through, bless them. I think lots of my friends lost their strawberries last year because of the drought. I'm telling you, my Cambridge favourites were just epic. They are quite well established, and I have now moved them. They can crop a little bit longer if you go ahead and put them in a polytunnel or a greenhouse, but yeah, they're awesome. Once they've been planted, within 4 to 8 months, they should be yielding, but they're best yielding between 16 and 20 months old. Then they'll be like super heavy yielding. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and grow them, and I'm eating them this year. I don't care. Now, I've bought all of mine and brought them all down as bare roots. I know they look half dead when you get them, but they don't tend to be. They go dormant. And basically you just go ahead and make sure that you put lots and lots of water down, and they will settle into the soil, as you can see here. Here I've just topped the top of this with hay, so that they basically stop not hay, so that it stops them getting too dry when I'm not down there watering them. Strawberry plants are super hardy, so you can go ahead and plant them out in April. That's absolutely fine. They're able to withstand a few degrees below zero, so they literally just shrug it off. They don't need to be brought inside or anything like that. I do think that some people think because they're berries, and the actual berries themselves can't be subjected to frost, or the flowers, that they should take them inside, but there's absolutely no need to do that. There should be, each one of these plants are going to produce around about 375 grams of strawberries each, so you can imagine there's going to be quite a lot. I have read that you need about 100 strawberries per person to like make jam and basically have enough strawberries that you regret planting them, and that's what we're looking for. So we're going to be doing a few of these planters. I've got about two or three of these high up towers to plant out. I've got 2 wooden planters that I'm going to fill with strawberries as well. So I'm super excited about that, because it does allow us to grow more of a yield in a smaller area as well. But once we've eaten so many strawberries that we feel physically sick, we start putting them into strawberry crumble. Is probably one of my favourite things to grow with them, which is like any other straw crumble, but you don't cook the strawberries first, you just go ahead and put them in. They're delicious. I also make them into strawberry wine, so you kind of make them into a pulp and then put them in sugar and drain off the liquid from there, and you're able to make strawberry wine that way. Now, I love strawberry wine. It's really nice, really flavoursome, it's really strong, but all of that pulp gets left over, so we either make that into a jam, or we make it into into strawberry crumble. My partner and my daughter really don't like lumpy strawberry jam, like the luxurious one that everyone pays loads of money for. They like the 25p strawberry jam that's just liquid. So that's what we go ahead and make for them. You can also use them for for smoothies, where if you get enough of them, just chuck them in the freezer. They don't defrost right, they defrost squishy. But if you're going to have them in strawberries, then that's fine. You can actually blend them up and put them onto ice cream and all sorts of things like that. Strawberries are amazing. I like them fresh. I like them with cream. I just like strawberries. So, and it's a really great way for kids to eat more of their 5 a day, I personally feel, because at the end of the day, it's very difficult to have children eat everything they're meant to be eating. However, if they've got fruit, they tend to eat that really, really well, which is good. It also helps little kids get into the garden, because they absolutely love eating strawberries. I'll never forget, when my daughter, when we have the strawberry patch, she goes into the strawberry patch and she used to sit in the strawberry patch. So this is the first one, it's all settled in lovely. So this is the second one that I've done. I've watered it super well, it's super moist, and it's looking great. It's going to take a little while for them to kind of like calm down in there, but I just need to put wood chip across the top, which I probably will do tomorrow. So exciting stuff. And then this one's just looking great. This one's looking a little bit sorry for itself, but it will perk up. So